Ladies and gentlemen, if you may all rise up as we welcome the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Rwanda, our guest of honor of this event. Let's warmly welcome the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Rwanda to the 2019 AFI Global Policy Forum. You may all take your seats. Right Honorable Dr. Edouard Ngirente, Prime Minister of the Republic of Rwanda, governors, deputy governors, Alliance for Financial Inclusion members and partners, ladies and gentlemen, Ngaramtse neza. It is our great pleasure to welcome you all to the 2019 AFI Global Policy Forum in Kigali, Rwanda, the land fondly known as the Land of 1,000 Hills. My name is Barbara Omohoza, and I'll be the mistress of these ceremonies for the 2019 AFI Global Policy Forum. The Global Policy Forum convenes Alliance for Financial Inclusion members and other key stakeholders who are in financial inclusion, such as representatives from global standard-setting bodies, the private sector, including financial service providers, mobile network operators, and technology companies, international organizations, and the research community. AFI makes deliberate efforts to ensure that the GPF has representation from a wide range of voices and perspectives on the key challenges and solutions for financial inclusion. With this year's theme, using technology for the inclusion of women and youth, this year we have the opportunity to highlight Rwanda's financial inclusion journey and the AFI network's rich experience in implementing innovative financial inclusion policies that enable the use of technology to empower women and youth. Let us now commence the opening session. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Honorable John Rwangombwa, the Governor of the National Bank of Rwanda, the host of this year's Global Policy Forum. Thank you.
It is my pleasure and honor to welcome you all to Rwanda for the 11th AFI Global Policy Forum. I hope you have enjoyed and continue to enjoy your stay in this beautiful land of 1,000 smiles. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Right Honourable Prime Minister, for honoring our invitation, despite your busy schedule. Your presence here today demonstrates the importance the government of Rwanda attaches to financial inclusion and inclusive economic growth in general. allow me to extend my appreciation to the board and management of AFI for choosing Rwanda as your host for the 2019 Global Forum. We are indeed honored to host this very important forum. I would also like to thank everyone for their presence today, and more especially to those who traveled from all over the world. I invite all of you to feel at home, and together as a family, let's take this opportunity to discuss how we can leverage technology to close the financial inclusion gap for the youth and the women. To our local partners, we are grateful to have you here, and I hope that we will openly share our experiences and be open to learn from others' experience. Right Honourable Prime Minister, distinguished participants, it is commendable that there has been concerted and coordinated efforts across the world to close the financial inclusion gap in different countries. The Alliance for Financial Inclusion that convened us here today is a product of such efforts. It is a network of regulators and other policymakers that have agreed to work together to ensure that every citizen in our respective countries has access to quality and affordable financial services and products. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate the AFI board and management for the job well done to date. Despite the commendable milestones achieved so far, we recognize that we still have a long way to go. We will not rest until the 1.7 billion people still financially excluded are fully integrated. This year's theme, using technology for inclusion of women and youth, comes at a time when the world is striving to achieve gender equality in all aspects as set under the UN Sustainable Development Goals, in particular SDG 5 on gender equality, which aims at bringing to end all forms of discrimination against women and girls. The selection of this theme was informed by the fact that globally, 56% of the unbanked population are women. The World Bank data estimates that in 2018, the female population was 49% of the world's total population, whereas in Rwanda, the ratio is estimated at 50.9% of a total of around 12.7 million people. These numbers imply that strong measures must be taken to create a conducive environment for women to participate and benefit from more development opportunities. Having access to quality and affordable financial products and services is a foundation for the efforts to promote gender equality. On this note, projected numbers from the UN Sustainable Development Goals show that by 2015, between 2015 and 2030, 1.9 billion people will turn 15 years old. This fast-growing number of the youth calls for policy makers to double their efforts in supporting and investing in the youth because they present an opportunity for accelerated economic growth. To address this issue of gender gap and youth financial exclusion, there's need to put together global policies that will foster financial inclusion and provide solutions to improve the lives of the poor. Recent advancements in technology, and more specifically in the digital financial services, presents great opportunities in reaching out to the poor and remote communities, particularly here in the sub-Saharan Africa. One good example I can give from Rwanda is the changes we have noticed over the last 2 years in the number of individuals accessing loans from banks. With the introduction of micro-digital loans by just 4 banks out of the 16 banks we have in our country, the number of individual borrowers has doubled within those 2 years. It is also evident that the beneficiaries of these microloans through the digital channels could originally not access loans from banks. I'm therefore confident that digital financial solutions will allow us to make significant progress, opening broader paths to our goal of universal access to financial services. Right Honourable Prime Minister, distinguished participants, as I conclude, allow me to appreciate the steps that have been taken in bridging the financial exclusion gap in various countries around the world. Yes, we still have a long way to go, but together we can make it. The AFI network has a number of promising initiatives, such as the Denarau Action Plan that was adopted in 2016 and the Shoti Accord adopted in 2018, which represent the willingness of AFI members to bridge the women financial inclusion gap in the AFI network. My humble call to each one of us here is to continue the journey of achieving universal access to financial services. Let us keep AFI network shining and never leave anyone behind. I wish you a fruitful GPF and pleasant stay in Rwanda. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable John Rwangomga. At this point in time, I would like us to welcome opening remarks. Our first opening remarks will be coming from Mrs. Lobna Helal. She's the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Egypt on behalf of His Excellency Mr. Tarek Amer, the Governor of Central Bank of Egypt, who is also the incoming chair of the AFI board. Welcome, Mrs. Lobna.
Good morning. Right Honorable Prime Minister of Rwanda, Your Excellency, Governor of the National Bank of Rwanda, esteemed members of the AFI Board of Directors, Dr. Hanning, Executive Director of the Alliance for Financial Inclusion, and members of the AFI Management Unit, Your Excellencies, Honorable Governors and Deputy Governors, fellow members of AFI Network, AFI partners, ladies and gentlemen. It's a long list. On behalf of AFI's board chair, Governor Tarek Amer, I would like to welcome you all today at the opening of the distinguished 11th Global Policy Forum in our beautiful host country, Rwanda, the land of the Southern Hills. We immensely appreciate the generous hospitality of our host, the National Bank of Rwanda. In its short history that just spans over a decade or just a decade, AFI's continuous efforts and dedication has positioned the network to become the leading member-owned network of policy-making institutions focused on financial inclusion. Today marks our 11th GPF, where we are focusing on using technology for inclusion of women and youth. During the GPF meetings and gatherings, a multitude of topics are discussed that open up opportunities for further explorations in the future. During the coming 2 days, the invited relevant stakeholders will contribute with their expertise and experience and share their experiences with the members in order to enrich the members' know-how in a variety of related topics. That is, of course, beside building invaluable relationships through the networking opportunities that can yield into bilateral and multilateral collaborations. As members of the Alliance, we challenge ourselves each year to explore new horizons in the realm of financial inclusion. Over the past 2 years, we tackled climate change, cybersecurity, fintech, and now we are adopting the Rwanda Accord for accelerating financial inclusion for the disadvantaged groups to focus, in addition to women and youth, on the elderly population, the forcibly displaced, and the disabled people. Since 2013, the Central Bank of Egypt has been a principal member of the Alliance and has engaged extensively with AFI's work stream through peer learning, knowledge sharing activities that have proven to be invaluable in advancing Egypt's financial inclusion agenda. And here I'm talking on behalf of the governor, the elected chair, so I will use the I. As the elected chair, I intend to build upon the great work that has been accomplished to enhance the governance, strategic direction, and further developing the capacity or the resources of the network. This will enable members to meet their individual needs and deliver upon the aspirations of their people. To conclude, I would like to thank once again our host, National Bank of Rwanda, for hosting this event, my fellow AFI board members, AFI Management Unit, distinguished members are partners for their contributions, their support, and their commitment in shaping and advancing the AFI network agenda in addressing our ultimate goal of elevating poverty, creating job opportunities, and sustainable economic growth through financial inclusion. With this, I wish everybody 2 days of fruitful discussions and deliberations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Lobner. I would like to invite Dr. Alfred Honey, who is the Executive Director of AFI, to also give us his opening remarks.
Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Edward Ngirente, Republic of Rwanda, Your Excellency, our Governor, John Rangomba of National Bank of Rwanda, Ms. Lobna Helal, Deputy Governor, Central Bank of Egypt, on behalf of our Chair, Mr. Tariq Amer, Governor of the Central Bank of Egypt, AFI board members, governors, deputy governors, senators, ministers, members of the diplomatic corps, our funding, intellectual and institutional partners, private sector representatives, dear members, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we would like to start by appreciating your hospitality, the hospitality of this country, which you rightly named the country or the land of the thousand hills. It is a beauty in Africa, as I can speak from experience, even working on this continent, and it is great for me to be back on African soil. GPF is returning to Africa for the fourth time after Kenya, South Africa, and Mozambique. We are today in Rwanda, a country which is not only so beautiful, but also another hotspot of financial inclusion that has shown enormous progress in digital financial inclusion in the last decade. I was wondering how I could bring you into this topic, so I've chosen a personal approach. And I want to show you a few visuals before I come to the theme of this year's GPF. And the first visual I'm going to show you would actually come with a question to you, but we don't have the time to answer the question. So let me just assume that everyone here in the room, or almost everyone, knows a game that we have played when we were kids. And this game is called Monopoly. So I think you know this game. And I was actually in Kuala Lumpur recently, and I wanted to buy a Monopoly game for my sons. And when I unpacked the box at home, I saw this. Now, what is this? Do you see what you were maybe used to? The cash, the money that you were piling up when you were buying all these houses? Without realizing it, I had bought a cashless Monopoly game. There were no banknotes. What you do here is you use your device to pay for your purchases and to receive money from your sales. And your money is stored on cards. Now my question to you is, who of you has played this version of the game? Now, I was so amazed that when I came to the office next morning, I sent a quick survey to all my staff, and I asked, who knows this version of the Monopoly? And the interesting outcome, as you can imagine, of this quick survey was that my older colleagues, like, I guess, Norbert, did not really know the cashless monopoly. My younger colleagues, however, knew only this version that you see on the picture. And I would like to mention one of my colleagues, his name is Ashton, we call him Ash. He's 29, a 29-year-old colleague who does a great job at AFI, and by the way, works harder than me when I was 29. He was very familiar with the version you are seeing on the picture, and even told me about technology issues with the previous version. And now they apparently got it sorted, and they play again because this is faster. So, not big news to him, but some big news for my colleagues. Well, this is one aspect. Now let me show you another picture. The little lady here is reading a book. She's reading this book. This book is a series of small booklets. They're called Little Feminists. And they show activists, leaders, actors, other women who have made a difference. So is she reading this book? She got it as a present from a very good friend of my wife. And the series of these books are quite comprehensive, as you will see. That's what she's seeing. And I think you know this. And these are other examples of what she is seeing. You can see what she is looking at. Of course, it is difficult to say that the little girl understands exactly when she now looks at these small books. But I'm sure she will understand soon. The immediate effect, however, of these booklets in her hands was that her father apparently was very taken by this, and it dawned upon him why AFI members had done a good thing when they had put point number 10 into the General Action Plan, the point on gender diversity in female leadership. Global Policy Forum, which you see on the screen again, using technology for the inclusion of women and youth. Let's first start again with technology. In the last decade, we all know, and I think Rwanda has been part of this, financial inclusion has ridden the wave of technological revolution that facilitated a dramatic reduction of costs of retail banking, that allowed the entrance of new financial market players, even social networks. Today, as technology is even moving faster than before, we are increasingly witnessing this global convergence of policy and regulatory solutions in the financial inclusion and financial technology space. And underlying the convergence of such solutions are the concerns of financial regulators all around the world regarding the risks of technology. At AFI's first Global Thought Leadership Conference that took place in Abidjan a couple of months ago, earlier in the year, both policymakers and regulators from developed and developing countries highlighted the needs to balance the promotion of digital channels to deliver more inclusion with attention to risks of technologies. And as you better know than I do, these risks include cybersecurity, systems interdependencies, consumer data management, and effective consumer protection that reinforce trust to digital financial services. And the concerns on the risks of technology have very recently been brought forward to all of us by the entry into the financial services of the big techs. These global multi-billion user platforms, they hold the promise of efficiency gains and their potential ability to facilitate greater financial inclusion even in uncharted territories, such as the broader issuance of cryptocurrencies backed by reserve of assets. At the same time, such innovations raise critical regulatory concerns and structural challenges. And given the complexity of these challenges, whilst it would be too early to make conclusive statements, it is already clearly apparent that global policy coordination and learning will be very crucial to adopt policy choices that keep the risks in check, while allowing to reap the benefits of the developmental value that such platforms, when scaled, may hold for financial inclusion. Conversely, emergence of sovereign fiat cryptocurrency may hold even the promise for financial inclusion. Now, regarding the financial inclusion of women, I think we know that the gender gap has remained broadly unchanged over the last 6 years. And this indicates that women's account ownership is only growing at a similar rate as men's ownership of accounts. Therefore, we are not quickly enough narrowing down the gender gap. And we are now starting to see progress with the implementation of the provisions of the Denarau Action Plan. AFI, however, has not spoken so much about the youth, as you are aware. And the truth of the matter is that the world is now home to more young adults than ever before. There are 1.8 billion of young people between the ages of 10 and 24, and approximately 90% of them live in developing countries. Now, according to the World Bank's Findex from 2017, 47% of young adults in developing countries are excluded from formal financial services, compared to 18% of young adults in high-income countries. And young people are, of course, affected by low levels of financial capability. These factors inhibit the possibilities of young people to benefit from long-term sustainable financial inclusion, and especially at a time when the world is moving towards a platform economy. Now, technology providers, and I'm borrowing, of course, here from my friend from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, what he said yesterday, technology providers drive behavioral changes among the youth whose views on data privacy in some markets may significantly differ from older generations. When I recently spoke to one of the high-level governors of our network, he said to me, "Do you think that the youth have the same view on data privacy as we have?" "They don't care," he said. I said, "I don't believe it." So I again went back to my staff and I asked a 30-year-old colleague, and she said, "Yeah, it's true, we don't care, as long as we get and find immediately what we want and when people know what we want." I said, wow, it seems to be a case that digital transparency is valued when a simple mouse click allows you to find exactly what you're looking for on digital platforms. And these groups, as you could see from the picture, these groups are growing up in an increasingly digitized environment and may value the convenience of digital platforms over the risks of their data privacy. And this is what Chris said yesterday. And with continuing technological advances and improving skills, users themselves are beginning to shape the design and use of financial services. The launch of the Pacific Island Regulatory Sandbox, the special plenary session of Youth on Key Financial Inclusion Challenges, the launch of the Multi-Donor Policy Implementation Fund, and finally we also have launched the Inclusive Green Finance Working Group, a deliverable under the Sharm el-Sheikh Accord. Before I close, Governor, Honorable Prime Minister, I would like to say a few words about the baskets. And maybe we can bring back this slide, the baskets here. And you can see them at the GPF's exhibition this year. It's very impressive. It is featuring the baskets from around our network to showcase the unity and the diversity of the Alliance. Most of our members did not tell us that they will bring them. Yeah. And they keep just appearing. For example, Ghana also brought lots of fantastic chocolate and placed them inside the baskets. We loved it. Now, bringing these baskets from around the world, carrying them on numerous flights, shows how committed our members are to the cause and the Alliance. And the baskets have made the exhibition special. You should have a look if you find the time. We hope all baskets find a good place here in display in Rwanda. The idea to bring the baskets came from the National Bank of Rwanda through the suggestion of this year's GPF logo, showing this basket, which is called Agazake, the Agazake, right? And the Agazake has been a fundamental part of Rwandan culture for hundreds of years. It is the centerpiece of Rwanda's coat of arms and a symbol of peace and unity, isn't it? It is the centerpiece of Rwanda's word for peace in the Kinyarwanda language. Historically, the tradition of weaving the agazeke basket, my language, agazeke basket, it had to happen, was passed down from mothers to daughters to mark the transition into womanhood and to signify a mother's care for her children as well as for her country. Now, the network is a place for global exchange and learning. In view of the technological convergence that we have talked about, we are convinced that global learning will help to address local challenges. Global learning for local challenges, which will again ensure that no one will be left behind. And kindly let me close, and this is what I really like to do, because all what I say is actually what I'm learning myself in this group. Let me close with a quote from one of our members. The quote is, "This is the future of finance. We may not be aware of it, but we will be." These are the words of DJ Sheila from Central Bank of Kenya that I was able to pick up last night. Thank you all and wish you a productive GPF.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alfred. It is the Global Policy Forum tradition to ring the gong to officially open the forum. This gong on the stage has traveled a long way, starting from Bali, Indonesia, to Cancun, Mexico, to Cape Town, South Africa, to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, to Trinidad and Tobago, Maputo, Mozambique, to Nadi, Fiji, Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, Sochi, Russia, and last year, that's where it was. This year, we have it in Kigali, Rwanda. At this point in time, I would like to invite the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Rwanda to deliver to us his keynote address. Thank you.
Honorable Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, Alliance for Financial Inclusion Board Chairman, Executive Director of Alliance for Financial Inclusion, Central Bank Governors, representatives of institutions, distinguished delegates, good morning and welcome. On behalf of His Excellency Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, and the people of Rwanda, I am pleased to welcome you all to Rwanda. Let me start by extending my sincere appreciation to the Alliance of Financial Inclusion Board and the management team for organizing this very important 2019 Global Policy Forum on financial inclusion. As a country, we are pleased to be the hosts of this 11th Alliance for Financial Inclusion Global Policy Forum 2019 this week. Financial inclusion is considered as a tool for economic transformation, especially by improving welfare and the general standard of living, wealth creation, as well as poverty reduction. However, the mandate of advancing financial inclusion is not a task of a single institution, but collaborative and supportive efforts among different stakeholders. Statistics show that the world unbanked population dropped from 2.5 billion in 2011 to 1.7 billion in 2017. Despite increasing financial inclusion, a big proportion of youth continue to be financially excluded. For instance, in sub-Saharan Africa, where over 60% of the population fall below the age of 25, most of them are less likely to have a bank account compared to adults. Therefore, there is a great need to empower our youth to access useful and affordable financial products and services. In this regard, financial literacy could be the starting point in this process. Since many of the youth have a keen interest in digital channels, digital financial services accessed and delivered through their mobile phone could be the solution to banking them. Distinguished guests, in 2008, Rwanda conducted its financial inclusion survey, and the result of this survey revealed that only 21% of adult Rwandans were formally financially included. Therefore, it was found important and urgent to implement initiatives that could make financial services accessible to all Rwandans faster. It is in this regard that we put in place Savings and Credit Cooperatives Program, locally known as Umurenge Sako. This program was put in place to make financial products and services, credit, savings and payments available throughout the country, especially in rural areas, to increase the level of financial inclusion. Furthermore, Rwanda invested a significant amount of effort and resources in establishing ICT infrastructure as a means to facilitate financial inclusion. In the financial sector, digital financial services were given high emphasis to increase the level of financial inclusion. Some of these services, including mobile financial services and internet banking services, were introduced and are now well operational. The results were tangible and promising because the level of financial inclusion increased from 21% in 2008 to 89% in 2016. Let me stress, therefore, that ICT infrastructure is presenting and providing a bridge to financial inclusion. Just as electricity played a key role in economic development during the industrialization period, ICT is also serving as a key element in making financial services accessible and affordable to underserved groups, especially women and youth. As I conclude, let me emphasize that financial inclusion is critical for the development of our economies. Therefore, let us make sure that our all citizens are financially included and have access to useful and affordable financial products and services that meet their needs. With these remarks, I declare the 2019 Alliance for Financial Inclusion Global Policy Forum officially open and wish you fruitful deliberation. I thank you so much.
With those remarks, we would like to invite the Right Honorable Prime Minister to ring the gong. Thank you, Right Honorable Prime Minister, for the opening of the 2019 GPF. I would like to invite ladies who are going to warmly welcome our guests with a cultural dance. Enjoy.
Amara.
here in Kigali. As they are getting ready to go for the photo session as well, which will follow, the deputy governors will also be shown which way to go for the photo session. As they go for the photo session and the exhibition, we will also be seated, and we will view a video of the exact exhibition that they're about to go and see.
Welcome to the 2019 AFI GPF and this walkthrough of the exhibitions. Our first panel introduces the 2019 AFI GPF by showcasing the symbolism of Rwanda's agaseke baskets through the themes of women, technology, and youth. Illustrating the ties that bind us are a range of baskets brought by AFI member institutions and proudly displayed around the exhibition. On the main theme panel, AFI's regional initiatives guide us through the work that member institutions are conducting on the ground across the three themes. Each section is brought to life through quotes, facts, and vibrant images. Introducing this panel are some notable successes in host nation Rwanda, followed by sections on Asia, AFPI, FILAC, Akapi, PIRI, and FIARI. Lined by a series of panels, a hangout zone was created for participants to network, relax, and learn more about AFI. Here we highlight the Maya Declaration as the bedrock of the AFI Accords, and ask you to use the glass vases to vote for your country or institution's financial inclusion priority. Learn about the AFI data portal or download the latest publications using your camera phone to scan the QR codes on the panel. Have a closer look at the mosaic to live some of the highlights from last year's AFI events. Finally, have some fun and discover more about AFI's capacity building program by playing our word search to find key AFI terms and financial inclusion words. Replicating the interlacing strands of the agaseke, the impact panel shows how the outcomes of AFI's working groups weave across the event's themes of women, technology, and youth. 10 finalists have been chosen to take part in AFI's first ever FinTech Showcase and share their innovative products with GPF participants at a special plenary session. Vote for your favorite using the GPF mobile app, and the winners will be announced at the AFI Awards. AFI has been at the forefront of inclusive green finance, an area that builds resilience and enables mitigation to climate change. AFI members have made crucial Maya Declaration commitments that are contributing to a range of sustainable development goals, including no poverty, gender equality, affordable and clean energy, climate action, and global partnerships. The Kigali Statement calls on all participants at the 2019 AFI GPF to renew their commitments and agree on specific actions to accelerate financial inclusion for disadvantaged groups and leave no one behind. In Kigali, we are saying that it is time to accelerate these commitments. On behalf of AFI and the National Bank of Rwanda, welcome to Kigali and the 2019 AFI GPF.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have our coffee break, which is on the floor downstairs. We will convene back here in the next 30 minutes by 10:30, but a few housekeeping rules one more time. We have the Kigali City Tour, which will be registered. Everyone will be registering at the information desk, which is also downstairs. And the city tour will take our guests to the Kigali Genocide Memorial, the Parliament, and the Economic Zone. Our gala dinner is tonight at 7 p.m. and we are kindly asking for you to come in traditional wear for the evening. Again, details of your Wi-Fi connection are on the badge. The shuttle is every 10 minutes downstairs, so you are welcome to go and enjoy your coffee break. We convene back at 10:30. Thank you.
kasi moma lanaya ngani ya sene ya wuni kanda ya ningala yeso gurula ibanaya duniana ni banaya tatentuke mansoye duniana ni banaya tatentuke famanaye ni ana masabatentu sinala faroke ya ila banaya do banaya lanayana banaya lanayana mansaya winimana banaya lanayana banaya lanayana kanaya winimana banaya lanayana Julayana, Julakela banaya nyonte Julayana, Julayana, Julamro sayana ye Julayana, Julayaning banaya